All right, in this video, we are going to dig into how to manipulate images and type in a Google slide. So first, a quick review of how to manipulate type. If you've got type that you want to change inside of a text box or a shape box in a Google slide, then all you need to do is highlight whatever it is that you want to change, whatever type. And I can go ahead up here and select from those fonts. I'm going to go ahead and select that one. I can increase the size. I can decrease the size of that font. I can put it into bold, italics, underline it, or I can change the color here. I can go ahead and highlight it if I choose. I can also create some custom colors as well. So that's how you can manipulate the type on a pretty basic level, right? The other part that I want to go over with you is how to change the shape of these boxes. So for this, I want to, like if my end goal is to create something like this, right? Then I want to make sure that the type and the boxes fit around the image that I am trying to create in the center. And so to do that, I first typed everything out so that I knew how much information was going to be in each of those boxes. And then I can go through and start to get it to fit into the space that I have. So really the amount of space I need is just about that for that box, right? Which allows me, there's more type than what you can see here. So that allows me to pull this box up and change the size. And I'm just clicking and dragging. And so I can also use the arrow keys as well if I'd like to go left and right, as long as the whole outside of this is selected and the cursor is not on the inside, right? So again, right here, the cursor's on the inside there, so I have to make sure I've got those crosshairs tool. So I have a lot of extra room here, and this, like in this type box, and as well down here. So I think what I'm actually going to do is start to pull this box over here to so just to make room, right? I want that box again to be this one in the center is going to turn into that badge that I've created. And I need more room for these two left side boxes. And so I can start to play around with that and try to create some pleasing shapes and room and space here for me to fit all that in, right? So once I get that close so that it's all more or less fitting into and giving me a space in the center, that I would be able to add this shape. Once I get that close, at least, and I want to start playing around with, okay, how do I move this shape into the center and still have room and adjust the type here? You'll notice the box is transparent. So to fill a color inside of that box, I can choose transparent down here, and that allows me to see the type underneath it. So I'm going to keep it transparent at this point because I want to fix that type underneath it so I can still see it, right? Eventually I'll fill that. But I also want to change the shape of that box because I'm not in love with that hexagon shape, at least for this part of the project. So I'm going to hold down my Alt key and then click so that I get a menu here, and there I can select the change shape from these options. So I went and found this shape that looked more like a badge. And so I think that's the one that I want to do. And I'm going to go ahead and slide it so that it's not taking up quite as much room as what that octagon or hexagon shape was taking up. So I'm going to kind of play around with how big I want it and get it pretty close to like what I think I want that badge shape to be. Because then once I've got that set, I can click back over on this text box, which is laying right underneath it, right? So again, I can hold down that Alt key and right click, and you'll see that there's an order of boxes. So I can bring shapes to the front or send them back. So those are always options for me. But this type box is actually underneath this kind of badge shape here. And I want that type to be visible after I fill it with a color, right? Click it where I want it to be, and I'm going to hit enter, and that breaks that line of type. So one more time, right? I know ordinary, this word's not going to fit there, so I get my cursor close, and I'm going to go ahead and hit enter to break that line of type, and you'll see I did that already for the rest of this part through here. So it just gets it so that it fits in that the type is actually inside this whole box, but I'm breaking the lines here to fit around the shape that I've now put on top of it. Right? So we'll pretend that I did that for these over here. For this one, just a pro tip for you here, I think what I would do is select all the type on this side because that's going to be complicated, and I've got empty space here. So I'm going to actually go up here and select the right justified. So I can center type or make it to the left or to the right. I can also decide where in the box it falls. So if I click this one, you'll see it'll slide the type down to the bottom of the box and line it up that way. So I think I'm going to keep it towards the top, but I'm also going to right justify it. And then that's less work I have to do here to get it around that shape, right? All right, so back to this box where I'm going to go through it and change the color of it. So I can go up to the fill and I can choose a color. I have this this would be a solid color, right? I also have this option for a gradient. And so I can play around with like, do I want this to have some kind of like cool fade to it? Otherwise, I think I'm just going to go for solid right now because I've got some other ways I'm going to make it fancy. I'm going to go with this dark purple color first, and I'm going to change the border color of it to be like a trophy kind of award color gold. And I want to change, I can barely see that gold line around the purple. So I want to make that a little bit thicker. Maybe I'll go down here to 12. And so then I'll click off just to see how am I doing here. All right, I think that's okay, right? But I think I want to make it a little bit more fancy. So I'm going to take this shape again. And so I've selected up here for the shapes. I'm going to go ahead and create a second badge shape. And so if I line that up here, and I'm just dropping that right over the top of this shape. And I'm going to go back and change it, but I'm going to do the next shade lighter. I'm going to choose the same gold so that the color border is the same. I will make it maybe not quite so dark or heavy of a line, but I'm going to play around with these patterns here. I'm going to try the dashes, and that adds at least a little shape and texture there for me. And I want an image now to go in the center to create that badge. I can go to the insert and image. I have this option to upload from my computer. I'll show you that in a second. But I can, if I have images on my drive or in my Google Photos, if I've got a specific link I want to use, these are all options. If I want to take a picture here of my pretty face, let's not do that though. How about if we do search the web, and I can again search for Monster Claw here and select some images. But if I do that, it's going to put in an image and I get the whole thing. And so if I just want to have just the claw itself, then I need to do something a little bit fancier where I've got to go in to the remove background option online, which is pretty slick. So I'll go to Google and I'm just looking for an image of Monster Claw. And I want to find one that is a bright white background so that I can most easily remove that, right? If there was lots of things like that first image with the brick behind it and the concrete, it's going to be difficult to remove. So I want to try to find one. It's just easier if it's got a white or some kind of solid color background. So I'll hold down the Alt key. I'm going to click and save that image to my download files. And I'm going to change the title down here to read Monster Claw, just so it's really easy to identify. And I can show in the folder where that ended up, right? And then once that is there, I'm going to go to this website called Remove Background. And what you want to do is upload, so pretend I haven't done this yet, right? I want to upload that image, and it will pull it right from that download file. So I'm going to click to open it, and it will automatically start removing that background for me. And you'll see that kind of gray and white checked background. And then I know that this has indeed had the background removed from it. So I'll download it again, and you'll see it pop up here, right? So now I can choose to copy it to the clipboard. And that's a way for me to pop right back over here, and I can paste it right in now. If I didn't do that, then I can go up here. If I didn't grab that and copy it to the clipboard, then I can just insert it as well. I'm going to upload it from the computer, and I'll see it listed right there. I know that it's the one that I removed the background from because it's got that remove BG, right? And then I can scale the size of it. I'll show you on this one. I can go ahead and start to change the shape and size of that image, but you'll see that the background has been removed. So it sits really nice right over the color background underneath it, that color shape that I created. Ask for help if you need it.